Welcome to Flint Hills. I'm Jeff. I just wanted to share with you this fantastic slow action turnout motor or point motor which are currently being installed on my friend's layout called Kraywood, and I'll show you some running shots of that layout later on. I really would appreciate it if you could subscribe to my channel, as I've noticed only 25% of my viewers do so. So please click on the bell icon and you'll also be notified when the next video is released. There are a number of MTB point motors available, as you can see here. However, I'm going to be just focusing on the entry-level MP1 point motor. So here's a close-up now of the MP1 point motor. It's got a number of terminals here. These three terminals here are actually for the power connection. It can be used for DC or for DCC via an accessory decoder. If you're using DC, obviously you would just simply put a toggle on this, so you could toggle for one direction and then you toggle for the other direction there. Yeah, very straightforward for DC, and same with DCC. And I'll connect this up to an accessory decoder in a minute and wire this in. There's three other terminals here, and these can be used for doing your frog, or if you want to, simply by putting some LEDs in there onto a mimic panel, so you can actually see when the point motor's actually changed over from one direction to the other direction. What also surprised me with this point motor is how powerful it is. And it is just as equally as powerful as the coal bolts that I fitted onto my layout. And yeah, this is a great little mechanism. So what I'm going to do now is we'll put the bar in. Now this can be mounted through here from underneath the layout, or if you wish you can actually mount it on top of the layout and you can simply move the tie bar across. But what we'll do is we'll fit the tie bar as if we're mounting it from underneath. And what's really nice again about drops it through. What's really nice about these is once you've got your pin in place, you can obviously mount this now underneath to operate your point motor, but you can adjust this up and down, and you don't have to cut the pin off. You can leave the pin long, which is useful because, as on my cobalts, when I've cut the pin, that's it. And if I move that point motor to somewhere else and there's a slight difference in height, then I've got to fork out for a new pin. But with these ones, no, if you move this point motor somewhere else and there is a difference in height, well, you simply just adjust the height or decrease the height as you so wish. Now, sometimes when you get these mounted underneath with other point motors, there's a little bit of fine tuning that needs to be done. But what's good as well is you can actually do that fine tuning with these two here. You can just slacken those off, and again you can move this over and just fine tune that throw. So again, it's so much easier just to do that fine tuning. Now also on these, there's the actual mechanism throw and this distance of travel. It can be from, on this particular model, 3mm to 6mm to 9mm. So I want to adjust this one here because it's going to be used on an N gauge layout. We only need it to be moved 3mm. Okay, so what I'll do is we'll just unscrew the back panel. Lift out the back panel, and you get a really good close up with what's inside now, and I'll take out that coupling. Now in here you can see there is actually three holes. The furthest hole is for 9mm movement, 6mm movement and 3mm movement. So I'm going to move that peg over. And apologies for the huge pliers. Oh. And we'll put that in there. And now that's ready to be moved for 3mm. Okay, you can see the actual small motor in there, and there's a cam that operates all the relays for the end. So we'll put this back now. And we'll just put that over the top of the cam, clamp that in. And now that point motor is set for 3mm operation. Okay, so what I'll do now is I'll connect these leads up, and we'll program up our DCC system and we'll operate the point motor. So I'm going to be using the digikijies accessory decoder, the DR4018, to operate this point motor. I've wired up these two wires here to the track power to give us our signal, and just temporary I've linked this round for the power as well. If I'm doing an awful lot of these points, as I've done with my cold bolts, I would run a separate power supply into there, so you're not using all your track power. So I'm going to wire this one in now to output number 2 on here. That's the red wire in. I'll put the white wire for common. And I'll put the green wire in. And there we go. So that's all wired in. And now we'll give it a go. We'll program up the unit. So here's our accessory decoder, all wired up now and ready to go. So what we'll do now is we'll turn the track power on, and we have a green light to confirm. So what we now need to do is to program this unit for these particular points. So what we'll do is we'll press the program button, and we go onto the digikijies software, and we are on the program on the main. The address we need is 9999, which tells it it's for the accessory decoder. We are going to be changing CV47. So I thought I'd quickly just share with you the actual CV47 table, and you can see there's a number of presets on the left hand side, and the one we're interested in is number 6, which is the turnout by motor there. So that's why I've picked number 6 and not 0, because that's for twin coils. And in this particular case, we're going to change it to a value of 6. And then we'll execute. And that's gone through okay. So what we now need to do is to tell this unit, it's got 8 outputs on. We now need to program in the output number that we need for that first turnout. Okay, so what I'm going to do is press the program key again here. There we go. And then what we'll do is we'll get the throttle and we'll get the switch, open the switchboard up. Now I know toning, where this is going to be installed, wants the first address to be number 65. So what we'll do is if I click on 65, and if we look now, the program light's gone out, so that has set the first output at 65, so there'll be 66, 67, etc. So if I now operate and click on 66 on the screen here, there we are on the screen, 66, and he operates that point. and if you notice it's only travelling 3mm. So all it leaves me now to do is to go over to Tony's layout at Kraywood and to install this point motor in its position. So as always with these videos, we've picked the most awkward one to do first, which is right underneath the upper section. But it gives you a view of how much room you've got underneath to actually fit one of these in. So if you had a big like cobalt motor, it might not fit. Well, these are nice and slim, so it does actually fit. So if we now go up on top, so we've left the pin very long on there, so you can actually see it sticking out. Now if we operate the points now, smooth as you like, very very nice, and so it's very very small underneath, much easier to do. Kraywood is an N gauge layout which is in the process of being built by my good friend Tony. I'm trying to encourage him to start his YouTube channel so he can share with us the build of the layout. The layout is currently housed in a 6x4 shed, and the scenery is just fantastic, as you can see from these pictures. And here are some running shots. Apologies for the poor quality of the audio. So Tony, what's the plan for this area?
This is going to be the town, the houses, shops, the church is going to be, obviously the vicarage. It's all on the top. People can then come down the straight through staircase. Down the path, go to the main line station, which will be roughly about here.
Platform's about here, yeah?
Yes, yes. So the main station, Kraywood, looking down. With again some more houses and that around, and slowly blending out into the countryside. We've got the branch line at the back, leading to the little ports at the top, and then round to a small industrial area.
Welcome back. And I hope you enjoyed that small running session from Kraywood, and knowing Tony, the scenic detail will be amazing. So let's hope he does start that YouTube channel so we can all follow his progress. I know he's going to be very busy now installing these fantastic MP1 point motors to the rest of his layout and fixing down the track into place. Now if you are interested in these MP1 point motors or any of the others which are in the range, can I suggest that you call James at DCC Train Automation, where I know these point motors were purchased. I'm going to leave you now with some running shots from Flint Hills, and lastly a reminder to please like and subscribe this video. Until next time, stay safe and happy modelling. Take care.